Morning, this is Brian. Today is Wednesday, April 30th, 2025, and I'm here in the Dehesa area of San Diego County. I am parked just around the bend here on Sloan Canyon Road, which is accessed from Dehesa Road. And my plan today is to try to get up to some of these hills up here. One hill of which is called the Mesa on the topo maps, which is a 1,264-foot summit in the area. I'm in a wildlife conservation area, so I'm going to go ahead and start getting in here and seeing if I can get up to them, getting up to that peak, and maybe a couple of other nearby summits in the area. So what I'm going to do is follow this road leading roughly south from the road. So what you do is you're going to park at a really small turnout a little further up, and you're going to walk about a tenth of a mile at most, and you're going to see that wildlife conservation sign. I believe there is a lot of private property in the area, so be careful where you start hiking in. I'm going to go follow it this way. That looks like it's going to lead to private property over there. So I'm going to follow this in. I didn't see a no trespassing sign at the gate. I was very hesitant to start this hike. Kind of drove back and forth a couple times pondering it, but I didn't see a no trespassing private property sign there. All I saw was a no OHV sign, and a lot of peak bagger users. We've been quite a few peak bagger users who visited these summits before, and that's not always an indicator of it being right to do so. But right now, I'm just kind of in between areas of properties and homes, and I'm in an area that appears to be good to go. So if I find out otherwise as I'm hiking and I come across a sign, then obviously I'll abort. But until then, I believe I'm good to go over here. I just don't want this area. Just no dune buggies or anything allowed. So let's see how this goes today. Let's see if this leads me where I wanted to go. I'll take a hike down this, and I guess I'll find out. I'll see you along the way. I'll keep you updated on my progress. It's beautiful out here, I'll tell you. Go up this and see. I think that's just going to lead into the valley. I'm supposed to be climbing. So I'm going to bear left here at the junction and see what the scene's like up here. There we go. Spiny redberry to start us off. Some Rhamnus crocea action over here. I don't even know what that sign says. It's blank. All right. We got some paintbrush over here. So we got some coast paintbrush here, I believe, and Castanea affinis, subspecies affinis. Interesting. All right. Well, golden yarrow is starting to bloom finally. All right. Let's see. I don't know if I'm supposed to go this way. Yeah, maybe I wasn't supposed to go this way. It looks like it kind of peters out here. So maybe I was supposed to go straight. All right. Well, I guess I'll go back and get down there, I guess. All right, so that's the original road I started. I'm going to stick to this, see where this goes. See if this leads up into the hills where I wanted to visit. Let's see. California bush sunflower blooming right now. Got a little bit of that going on. Some of that red monkey flower too. Yeah, this has not been one of my best hiking months, I'll tell you. For the first time in a long time, since last early spring, did I miss more than 1 week in a row of hiking. I missed 2 weeks in a row. The 16th and the 23rd. The week of the 16th and the 23rd were both great hiking weather. Really cool weather outside. And I missed out on that. The first week I was actually pretty sick. Had a really tiring head cold, and it did not feel well. Basically just laid around and did bare minimum of anything for a couple days. That was the first week, and last week would have been perfect hiking weather as well, but I, for some reason, couldn't motivate myself, which is a blasted shame. So I'm hoping to get something this week. I don't know where this is going. I'm not sure. I keep seeing blank signs all on the side here. They're all empty. I mean, they're all blank, so I can't tell. Let's see. Yeah, this is definitely going away from the peak. And we're going downhill, not uphill. It's not the direction I was thinking we were going to go. All right. I was hoping to go up into the hills, not further down in the Sweetwater River Valley. Because we're near the Sweetwater River. That's what this area is. Ooh, look at that black sage blooming right now. It's very nice. I'll have to double check next time. I have to double check if I missed the turn to go up into the hills. So I'm going downhill, the exact opposite. I don't think I see any other trails branching up into the hills. I don't know. Ooh. Red-shouldered hawk. All these willows and cottonwoods. It's actually heading me closer towards Dehesa. I don't think I should be going that way. I definitely shouldn't be going all the way back. Because over towards that way is where I started seeing private property signs and stuff, so. Wait a minute. Okay, that's where I came. Alright, I don't know. This is kind of not looking too auspicious right now. Thought I had this pretty much locked into where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do. It sure is beautiful out here, but heading over that way is we're heading along the road to where I saw all those private property signs over that way when I was driving along the road. I don't want to head into private land. Blooming over here. What kind of lupines do we have? Oh, we got collar lupine, Lupinus truncatus, blooming right now. Yeah, I got a nice chunk of that growing along here. Already starting to get their little legumes. Pretty neat. When I followed going uphill, it looked like the trail either washed out or disappeared. I guess this will just be a very short adventure video today. I didn't see anything past that one end of that dead end. Didn't see anything over there. Oh man, that's kind of crazy. Yeah, I don't want to take a chance and actually find myself in private land, so I guess I'm just gonna cut this one out and hopefully think of something else. It's already after 10 o'clock. Yeah, I like to look into getting into something else perhaps today. A lot of the big hiking plans I had, I ended up just wussing out, or that one week not feeling well. It's pretty out here though. I'll get a couple more pictures as I start heading back. Yeah, see, that's where I originally started climbing up the hill a little bit. That's where I kind of ran into the dead end. So if I don't see another branch down lower, this is going to be just a short video today. It's kind of what it's looking like. Looks like somebody cut down a fan palm, and the trunks are all laying here. It's weird. Looks like an old refrigerator. There's a southern honeysuckle getting ready to bloom right here. There's a blue elder and a big thicket of western poison oak right here. There's a blue elder up there. It's very beautiful out in this area. Very beautiful. Get a couple more pictures of this before I get my last clips in. And this is probably called Sloan Canyon, I'm assuming, especially because the name of the road that cuts through down here is called Sloan Canyon Road. I'm going to assume that. There's something up here. It's like a shelf or something up here. Not sure. No road leading up to it, I don't think. I'm pretty close to being back at the so-called trailhead. This was supposed to be the road I was supposed to start hiking to get up there. What we got going on over here? That's a road either. Wait a minute. Let me see. Yeah, here's a road here. There's a sign up there too. I think this is where I was supposed to go here originally. Keep an eye on what that sign says. I'll let you know. Well, I didn't see anything on the sign. All rusted out. Alright, well, at least I finally made out the right trail. Start climbing up into this. So we're starting down at the bottom of the canyon at about 550 feet above sea level. So we'll have a nice 700 feet to gain to get to the Mesa. The Mesa. So it looks like we'll have to start making our way up this old road here. Alright, well, at least I'm on the right track. Alright. Keep climbing up this, and I'll keep you posted on my progress. This is a steep one. We're actually not too far from the McGinty Mountain area, which is somewhere over that way, I believe. So we're not that far from McGinty Mountain either. All right, I'll keep you posted. Ooh, that initial climb. Wow, that one kicked my behind. That was steep. That wastes no time. Now we're going downhill. Let's see. Okay, I can see it plateaus right now. There's Sloan Canyon Road right down below us. Forgive me, I'm just trying to catch my breath. Lack of hiking in the last 3 weeks had me kind of messed up for a minute there. But we're going to start climbing again. I'm wondering if that's going to be the Mesa or it's going to be up that way somewhere. It's going to be to the left. Wherever this road goes, it'll be to the left. Yeah, that's the way I was going before. I might be able to see the old road cut down there. Went a short distance on that. Didn't realize the trail forks off to the left very quickly once you start getting on it. This used to be an old road, it looks like, but it's turned into a single track now, which is pretty cool. And we got some California poppy blooming up here. Some Schultzia californica, our state flower. And we got yellow bush beard tongue, Kekiella antirrhinoides, subspecies antirrhinoides, or variety antirrhinoides. And I think we have chick lupine here. These small ones. I think this is Lupinus microcarpus. This is Lupinus truncatus, which is a little taller and more upright. But I think that smaller one is chick lupine. Okay, and of course, no surprise here, laurel sumac. We are in the middle of coastal sage scrub, and is one of the most common larger woody shrubs found in the more dry, more arid coastal sage scrub. All right, so let's see. Very nice out here. It's very beautiful out here. So this must have been an old road bed, which has been partially reclaimed by nature over the years, because now it's narrowing to nearly a single track. All right. So I'm parked somewhere down there, about 1/10 of a mile from the little gate. All right. I'm going to keep climbing up this, keep you posted on my progress, and see how it goes. I think I found another species of Areophyllum. The one I'm normally used to seeing is the golden arrow. I think it's another species of Areophyllum, but I'm not sure. This might be another Areophyllum species. I'll have to look this one up. Got kind of thready, lobed leaves and small flower heads at the top. All right, time for some picture. And when I get home, I'll have to do some research. That's a species I've never seen before. I don't know if that's Areophyllum wallacei. I'm not even sure that grows here. I'll have to take a look. So you got Areophyllum confertiflorum, variety confertiflorum, which I pointed out in an earlier clip. The perennial subshrub called golden yarrow. I think that was another species of Areophyllum. I'll have to check that out. I wish I brought my native plants field guide, which I didn't. All right, we got a switchback coming up here. Yeah, this one wastes no time to get to the ridge line. Wow. Very beautiful out here. Very beautiful. Yeah, coastal sage scrub here on the sunnier slope here. All right. Wow, yeah, this is gorgeous. Just be prepared for a really good workout. Kind of figured there'd be a steep element to this, looking at the way the road came up to get up to the ridge line. So you'll probably be hearing me breathing heavily on this one. So I gotta get a few photos and I'll keep you apprised of my progress. Looks like views are gonna be opening up pretty soon. All right, we're climbing up into some chaparral now. Got a Coutadens or Berbertifolia here. Mission Manzanita. This one's definitely a Coutadens right here. This is Quercus Coutadens. And of course, common chemise. It's eased up a little bit for now. Of course, there's a Toyon right there. All right. I'm gonna chaparral yucca. All right. Let's see what else I find. San Diego sweet pea. Lathyrus Vestidas variety Eliphidae. Yes, indeed. That's looking towards Dehesa Road down there. I have to put batteries in soon. Take a few pictures. See you in the next clip. Big laurel sumac. Here's a tall one. This looks like a tree, almost. Let's stand under shade for a minute. Yeah. Pretty neat. There are a couple of peakbagger summits right there. I don't know how you get to them without trespassing, though, if at all. That right there, Peak 1783 on the other side of Dehesa Road. And that one to the left is called Dehesa Benchmark, which is about 1,903 feet, I believe. I was hoping to eventually try to get to those one day, but I hope peak bagger users climb them, especially Dehesa Benchmark, but I don't know what the legality is. Yeah, this is a beautiful climb up here. I'm gonna take a picture of those peaks, maybe for a future hiking episode if I can find a legal way to get up. Crazy thing is, I can see Dehesa benchmark for my job. I work on 2nd Street in El Cajon, and through the front window of my work, I can see Dehesa benchmark off to the east of where I work. I always wondered what peak that was until I did some harder research on the topos on Peak Bagger to find out that's Dehesa benchmark. From where I work to the west of it, it looks like a roughly flat-topped ridge. From here, it looks like a pointy peak. We actually got some woodland up there. Some coast live oak woodland, too. It's pretty cool. All right. Gotta watch out. Starting to get poison oak popping up right in the middle. So watch it. So just watch where you walk. Yeah, it's over here too. Stay on trail. All right. Guess I'll see you on the next clip. There's another peak over here that's not even listed on the topo maps. I think it might be the one at the end. Hill 1040, between 1040 and 1080 on the topo maps. All right, so we rounded the ridge, and now we had a nice little short level stretch, and now we're going to resume gaining this ridge here. All right, up I go, more and more. All right, so I'm approaching a small plateau on the trail. Let's see. Here's going to be one area where I'm going to have to turn left at a junction to get to the peak. If you're wanting to do this hike, don't worry, it's not all the way up there. I believe that's looking towards McGinty Mountain, actually. I think I'm coming up near the junction where I'm going to split off and go this way to my left. Now, I've been seeing patches of poison oak really close to the trail. There's one section where you're coming uphill, it'll be under left. It's really just about on the trail, so step a little bit more to your left when you get to that. Here's some more of it here. I'm hoping it's not going to require me bushwhacking through it at all to get to the mesa. All right, there's another peak over there, that little rocky knob right there. Peak 1085. Might be going for that one too. I think that one will require a short off-trail excursion. All right. All right, so let's see. I should be coming up to a junction pretty soon. Elevation-wise, I'm not that far from the top. Let's see. I hope it's not going to be all covered in poison oak. I'm really hoping not. I think this is the junction right here. Okay. All right. So when you get up to this clearing right here, you'll see the single track continue heading its way roughly west. So I'm going to do is I'm going to break off and go up this way to gain the summit. I remember seeing this when I was checking out Google Earth. So we should have a relatively easy hill climb from here to the top. It's not very steep from here. But if you're doing this hike, this will give you a very good workout. Especially the lower and middle portions of this hike are very steep. That's pretty cool. All right, well, should be nearing the summit relatively soon. Keep you posted. This beautiful area. Before I go, San Diego bush sunflower is blooming. So a lot of the yellow haze you'll see on the hills in the sage scrub, some of it could be invasive mustard. A lot of it's also going to be this. Very much a native Bahiopsis laciniata. All right, I'll see you up near the summit. So when you're taking this use trail, don't be alarmed. It's very overgrown. Just keep following this very faint but quite followable track right here. Just saw some kind of lizard. Oh, snap! A coast horned lizard. Come on, buddy, I want to see you. There it goes. Yeah, Phrynosoma blainvillei. Try not to bother it too much, but I want to see it. Wow, look at that. I haven't seen one of those in a long time. It's been over a year and a half since I've seen a horned lizard. Phrynosoma blainvillei. All right. That just made this hike even more interesting. To me, basically all hikes I do are interesting. To some way, to some form or not. To some way or another. I consider pretty much every hike I do interesting because I just come with that attitude that it's going to be interesting. To some people, this might not be their cup of tea. They might want more forested hikes or desert hikes or whatever. But the way I look at it is when I go into a hike, I'm expecting it to be interesting. And for me, I always find something positive about a hike. Even those short little hills and mounds I climb sometimes. I always find something interesting about those too. So come with a positive attitude about it, and it'll be all good. Yeah, that's up looking towards the McGinty Mountain area up there. There might be portions of this road system that connect up there. However, the legality of them getting up to that side of McGinty Mountain are very questionable. So I know there's some private property in and around McGinty Mountain. I know that for sure. One time I hiked it. I remember I think I took one wrong turn. Well, not a wrong turn because I didn't know where the summit was, but a turn to see if I could find a rare native plant. So I went on a trail where I should have zagged. I zigged and ended up seeing up ahead signs of private property. So I knew not to continue further. So there's definitely private property and stuff near the area. Just follow the signs, you'll be okay. Standard trail off of Hamul Drive is your best bet to climbing McGinty Mountain. And believe it or not, 2,183 foot McGinty Mountain is actually not the highest point of McGinty Mountain. There's another peak nearby that's 2,306 feet, and that's McGinty Mountain High Point. It's on Peak Bagger, but from what I've read, it's on private property, so that's a no-go. Unless you own that property, of course. All right, so I think I'm nearing the summit right now. I think. So far on the use trail, poison oak hasn't been a problem. On the regular trail, you gotta watch out for it. All right. Just about the summit, the Mesa. All right. Just a little further. Very short distance from here. Should be at the top of this one. There's a little wooden post over there. Well, this is it. This is the Mesa, 1,264 feet. All right, it's even a rock to sit on. Goodness, I kind of need to sit down for a little bit. Yeah, 1,264 foot, the Mesa. You get some nice views out here. Very nice. I'll have to check out what's what and point them out. All right, first, I'm gonna go find a place to sit, open up water, and relax for a few. Very cool. I don't think it's prudent to continue beyond the peak, because I think there are private end holdings underneath us here, so just summit and no further than going downhill. Don't try to make a loop out of this. All right, pretty cool. Some hidden eucalyptus grove up on the backside of McGinty. All right, I'm gonna go sit down and get something to drink after my summit selfie. All right, it's time to start pointing out some views from the Mesa. Simple name, simply cool. All right, I got a little sunscreen on my face, so don't mind the little white streaks on my face. I just put sunscreen on. Okay, so I'm gonna start by looking south, I guess. So we got way off in the distance in the haze, not that pointy one, but behind the pointy one is Lion's Peak in the Hamul area. And I think I can see McGinty, I think that's Gaskill Peak way off over there. All right. And there we have Sycuan Peak right there. I'm going to start pointing more towards the southeast. And now more towards the east. There we got good old Viejas Mountain over above Alpine and above the Viejas Indian Reservation. And I believe that's the Sycuan Resort down there. I think that's the Sycuan Resort. I believe that building and big old parking area. I think that's the Sycuan Casino and Resort area. Now we're looking down towards Sloan Canyon below us. And now we're looking northeast at El Cajon Mountain in the background. I have to be in a lot better shape to get that one hiked. Now we're going to be looking more towards the north-ish. And again, to the right is Peak 1783. And to the left is Dehesa benchmark. Now we're going to swing it more towards a little more northwest. Looking down as Dehesa Road down there. Keep following it west, it goes into El Cajon and turns into Washington Street. And I can see Mount Helix. Mount Helix, way off in the haze. Not the near one, but way off in the haze. Barely going to be able to see it. Looking west. It's looking over towards, I can see the hills of Mission Trails, including Coles Mountain, but it's very hazy. Swinging it southwest. Actually, I think that's Mount Helix over there. I must be tripping. I think that one off in the haze over there might be Rattlesnake Mountain, actually, near my house. It's so hazy, it's hard to see everything clearly. That should be Mount Helix over there. However, we're looking up to the south. This is the big area called McGinty Mountain. I'm not sure which one of these is the hikeable summit and the private property high point. But yeah, this whole area is called McGinty Mountain. And that should clear out our 360 right there. Pretty interesting. Some pretty good views up here. I think down there, I think that's either Willow Glen or Singing Hills Golf Course, one of the two. But yeah, this is the Mesa. It's more of a ridge than a mesa. It's only very flat here on the very summit plateau. Kind of interesting that this is called the Mesa. It's a cool hill. Whether it's a mesa or a ridge, it doesn't matter. It's cool as heck. Nice views up here, and a very nice breeze. The air was kind of alternated between slightly breezy and very still and warm. It's probably only in the low 70s, maybe low 70s. It's not even that warm out, but when you're on a direct south-facing slope, you'll feel it. All right, well, I'm gonna see about maybe heading over towards that one over there, Peak 1085. I'm gonna think about that one too, maybe. But first thing is I need to get back on trail, get back to that junction, and kind of see where I want to go from there. Very nice up here. Very cool peak. All right. Glad to be back on the summit again. All right. Time to start making moves. I'm gonna get ready to start down climbing from the mesa. So yeah, you'll know when you're here. That part there is pretty close in elevation, but this is slightly higher. So yeah, and you'll see this little wooden stick sticking out. I think if you go towards here, that pole right there, I think might delineate some private property that's down below, so don't go any further than this. But before I start heading back, Calocortus splendens. It's the first splendid Mariposa lily I've seen this year so far. Very nice to see that. And I think these are called silver puffs right here. These are the seeds. I want to say Uropapus lindley. I don't know if that's an older name or not. But yeah, I think these are silver puffs. I don't remember ever noticing these before. They're kind of shiny. Those are the seed heads. I think that might be Uropapus lindley, maybe. I'll have to double check. I think that's the species. So yeah, you get a little place to sit after that pretty stiff climb to get up to the ridge. Not gonna lie, it's not exactly a super easy hike, but it's totally worth it. Sometimes what's worth it isn't necessarily easy. You know? Sometimes worth it simply means taking that challenge and going with it. All right, the Mesa of Sloan Canyon. So if you want a good workout without putting in loads of miles, I think this will probably be a good bet for you. You will get a workout because some of the slopes getting up here are very steep. To gain the ridge area, it's a pretty stiff climb to get up here. You do get a couple of occasional small respites, but it's pretty much uphill about 99% of the way. So if you want a good workout and get the payoff of visiting a summit with some pretty decent views, I guess you really can't go wrong with the Mesa. I definitely don't feel like I've gone wrong at all, except for the wrong turn I made when I was going downhill. When I was going the wrong way. So let's head back and start thinking about, should I try to make a go at peak 1085? We shall see. As I'm heading back to the main track, we're getting some blooming chaparral yucca up here too. Yeah, sparrow yucca, whippily. Yeah. Despite paucity of rain, especially at the beginning of the rainy season, it was definitely much more heavily seasonally back-weighted towards especially March. And even the first couple days of April, first day or two of April, we ended up getting a fairly decent rain. And we've had a couple of light showers here and there. Last couple days up until yesterday, it was cooler, cloudier, partly or mostly cloudy, and we did get a few showers. And believe it or not, this weekend going into the first few days of May, we're actually supposed to get a small system. I don't know how big the system is, but I think Sunday the area is supposed to get some showers with some really unseasonably cool temperatures. And when I mean unseasonably cool, the forecasted high for where I live in Santee on, I think Sunday is 59, which is, we should be in the should be about 74 or 75 this time of year. So, and we had a couple of pretty unseasonably cool days last week as well, which was kind of interesting. Of course, the 2 weeks that I missed hiking had unseasonably cool temperatures, which, especially the first one where I was sick, kind of bummed me out because it would have been perfect to get out. It was mid to upper 60s and just a beautiful day outside. I think I just saw another horned lizard, kind of far for me to get good footage of it. Now we got a western whiptail right there in the middle of the trail. So, man, we're getting some good herp action out here. All right, I don't know if the camera will get that one too well. You might be able to see a slight movement of it on the camera. But I just saw, I don't know if it was the same horned lizard or another horned lizard darting off into the brush, and then a western whiptail 15 feet away from it. I guess this is kind of like a small, very small, narrow mesa. Who cares? It's all good to me. This is just a cool little peak I visited and enjoyed. A little botany and a little herpetology. Yeah, a couple horned lizards. Yeah, the whiptails. And then when I was on Sloan Canyon Road, I had a pull out, just trying to decide what I wanted to do, if I wanted to continue going for this or not. I ended up seeing an orange-throated whiptail across the road when I was sitting in my car. So that was cool. Of course, the camera was not on because I was sitting in my car. Okay, so this is where we're going to go back. However, I'm going to go this way. I'm going to go follow this track. I'm going to go towards peak 1085 and see what's good over there. Let's see. peak bagger users, sometimes they'll go up that way too. I'm trying to think if 1085's on peak bagger or if it's just listed on the topo maps. I don't remember this time, but I know other people have mentioned it before. Other peak bagger users have mentioned going to the Mesa and going over to their peak 1085. So we'll see. I mean, like I said, it doesn't have to be on peak bagger for me to want to climb it. That's not a requirement for me. Just being there, being accessible, that's all it takes for me to want to do it. Okay, well. Yeah. I know I got off topic. What I was talking about earlier was how the rainy season was back weighted towards the second half, especially March, early April. So, despite an extremely dry start, and still well below average in precipitation for this water year, we are still getting some pretty decent wildflowers. Definitely more than I was expecting. So, I mean, yeah, it's pretty festive looking out here, to be honest. All right, let's keep working along this ridge and we'll see what we got going on. A nice patch of white sage right here. Very large leaves on it. Really nice. Yeah, this is a nice, pretty mellow, pretty mellow ridge traverse now. There's a lot of coast paintbrush out here. There's a lot of it. There's a lot of it in this area. It's a hemiparasite. In other words, it partially parasitizes the roots of other plants, but it also makes some of its own food. Some of them have, you can see some green in some of the foliage. I'm pretty sure this is probably parasitizing this California sagebrush right here. So those are called hemiparasites. Hemi for like half parasite. All right, so this is a very peaceful ridge line here. All right. Here's more of that golden yarrow right here. Areophyllum convertiflorum, variety convertiflorum. And some of it's starting to bloom, some of it's really already popping off. Yeah. I keep seeing. Oh, blue-eyed grass. Okay, blue-eyed grass. A little tiny one right here. Sisyrinchium bellum. Haven't seen too much of that this year. At least not yet. Yeah, this was a weird season. Things got off to a really late start, obviously because of the fact that the rains got off to a late start. Some kind of interesting shrub or tree up ahead. I'm gonna get over there and I'll see what's popping off with that. Looks like we got some type of a walnut over here. Some random walnut shrub. I'm not sure what species that is. Trying to see if I can see any old seeds in the tree. It could be a Southern California walnut. Can't really see the bark in there too well. Could be a Juglans californica. Interesting. Just a random walnut shrub on this ridge. Oh yeah, there's some more of them too, I think. There's another one over there. I know Juglans californica does occasionally pop up in San Diego County, and it's a pretty rare Southern California endemic. Now, with Juglans californica, there is some disagreement over the taxonomy, in other words, the naming of it. Look at that mutation of the paintbrush. They do get that kind of yellowish orange sometimes too. Couldn't help it, I had to stop what I was talking about to get that. But okay, so there's some taxonomical confusion about Juglans californica. Now in California, it's generally accepted we have two taxa, two species of walnut. Juglans californica and Juglans heinzii, Juglans heinzii. Southern California walnut, Juglans californica, and Juglans heinzii, the Northern California walnut. Sometimes they are labeled as two subspecies of one species of Juglans californica, or variants. Sometimes the Southern California one is listed as Juglans californica, variety californica, and the Northern California walnut is sometimes listed as Juglans californica, variety heinzii. So, some botanists treat them as two variants of the same species. Others separate them into two separate species. So, the Northern California walnut is local in north central California, and the Southern California walnut is mostly local to northern Orange, Los Angeles counties, and San Bernardino, maybe Riverside, and occasional pop-ups here in San Diego County. And that might have been one of the occasional San Diego County pop-up. All right, so I'm not that far from Peak 1085. It's actually a shorter ridge walk than I expected. So, yeah, I'm gonna try to look into getting up there maybe. That's looking over towards where I was visiting, the Mesa, right up there. So I did come down quite a bit of elevation from there. Pretty cool. All right, I'll see you on the next clip. Time for some photography. And here's another species of Castanea. Purple owls. These are owl's clovers. This is an annual species of Castanea. Now, I'm not sure which one this is. There are a couple species of owl's clover Castaneas. We got a few of those popping up here too now. It's only the second time in my life I've seen this plant. First one was last April when I was hiking along the Quaipai Peak Trail up to Quaipai Peak. I saw a couple along the trail. See, I'm not sure if that one is Castanea excerta. There's another species, I think, of owl's clover. I'll have to check that out too. It's pretty cool finding all these plants today. But yeah, so there we go. That's Peak 1085 over there. So we'll probably have to go a little off trail for that one to get to that peak. We'll see when we get over there. You remember me talking about the Eriophyllum confertiflorum, variety confertiflorum, the golden yarrow, and another plant I suspected is an Eriophyllum. Here's more of that plant right here. Again, by the time this video is up, I should have an identification, or at least a preliminary identification of that. I'm pretty sure that's a species of Eriophyllum. It's pretty nice and florific out here. We got coast deer broom too. There's a lot of this too. Agmispon glaber, variety glaber. So I'm thinking this might be 1085 but there was something a little bit past this that looked like it could be a little bit higher. So I'm probably gonna bypass this for a minute or two and see. Let's see. I'll get back to you momentarily as I look around to see if I see anything bigger than this. I'm not sure, but I think this is gonna be it. All right, so I am backtracking a little bit, but I think my peak's gonna be up here. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to get back over here and start looking for a short, grassy, between the brushes ascent. Let's see. All right. Let's see. All right. I'm gonna go where it's grassier. It's probably where it's best. Okay, here we go. So this is before the trail starts going downhill more. Alright, so I did spot what looked like less brushy passages to get up here. Let's see. I'm just trying to keep it as least brushy as possible. I'm not worried about a big bushwhack, but kind of don't want to plow through all the shrubs and stuff. Want to keep my impact minimum when I'm off trail. Plus, I want to be able to see below me. It's warm enough for snakes to be out, so I do have to watch out for that as well. So I'm just going through the weedy grasses a little bit. Alright, there's a nice yucca. Hespero yucca whippley to be exact. Yeah, so far this is pretty good. No real bushwhacking. Some relatively easy off-trail hiking. Sure, a lot of collar lupine out here. Okay, let's see. Maybe some basic rock scrambling over here. Alright, just watching where I put my hands and stuff. Which would be an easier way. Okay. I don't even know what call. I don't even know if I'd really call this rocks. Well, it's a little scrambling. But yeah, little piece here. Little piece of rock scrambling. A little unstable footing up here, but all right. Just got that little distance to go. Yeah, this is the right way. This is the right one. Had to make sure. I know there are a couple small bumps in the area. Okay, just about to summit. Okay, this is the summit rock. All right, this is it. Peak 1085, my second peak of the day. It's not a really tough climb to get up here from the trail. It's actually quite easy. Just looking for the path of least resistance. It's not even, in my experience, I didn't have any true bushwhacking to get up here. Just wading through occasional small shrubs and just a small, very basic, barely even class 2, barely even. I don't even know if I can consider it class 2, but a couple areas where the rocks are a little unstable and you have to kind of watch your footing. But yeah, peak 1085 up here, just north of McGinty Mountain. I got a couple other views I want to point out here that didn't show up because I was further back that way. So I'll point them out right now. We're going to look southwest, and that in the distance, in the haze, that's Dictionary Hill. Dictionary Hill, and then there's a small sub-peak, Hill 924. Dictionary Hill. I've only been there once, and that was an awesome hike. I need to go back again. And then there's San Miguel Mountain right there, looming large above Chula Vista to the west and Hamul behind it. And then looking back towards the east, there's a good view of Siquan Peak again. Beautiful Siquan Peak. Yeah, some nice views out here. Very beautiful views out here. Very nice, very nice. And then there's the golf course again. And there's, again, even better view of Dehesa Road. This is a cool little summit right here. I like this one. This one required just a little extra sense of adventure to get here. And of course, looking back towards the east-ish, there's the Mesa. Not the one in back, not Siquan Peak, but there's the Mesa right there. Really good one. Very beautiful up here. And there's part of the Sweetwater River. Very nice. Here in Dehesa Valley. El Cajon is just over this way. El Cajon and Santee are over there to our west and northwest. Yeah, where this is down in the Dehesa area, the Siquan Indian Reservation. Pretty nice little spot to go hiking. So I guess I'll go ahead and get my summit selfie for number 2 and decide whether I still want to go for 1040. I don't know, maybe. Might go for that one, but I'm not sure. All right, I'm gonna get my summit selfie and start getting ready to move on. All right, just about back at the trail. Just about back. I can't say that my return was uneventful. So I was going down the last of the little rock rubble. I ended up slipping and falling in the grass, falling on my butt. It didn't hurt or anything. I didn't scratch anything. No big deal. But yeah, so if you take just take very care going up those rocks, coming down them. Just take care. Just be careful. Now it's time to start worming my way back towards the Mesa and decide if I want to go to peak 1040 or leave it alone. We'll see how that goes. Yes. All right. See you along the way for more updates. All right. So you see the Mesa just up there. Should be getting back to the trail split pretty soon. Ooh, whoa, sheesh. Lizard started going down that hole and right in front of me to get to the other side. Interesting. All right. A little side blotch lizard. Oh, something else in there. Might have been a western whiptail, I'm not sure. All right. Interesting. I think I've seen at least 4 different types of lizards today. Orange-throated whiptail, western whiptail, horned lizard, side blotch lizard, and a western fence lizard. Western fence lizard. That's 5. Not bad. Not bad. All right. Not doing too badly on the herp list today. So I was looking back up towards the Mesa. Should be back at the trail junction pretty soon. All right, back at the trail junction. There's the Use Trail going up towards the Mesa summit area, and this is going to take me back down to Sloan Canyon. All right. I think that one there in the foreground is peak 1040. I don't know if I'm going to go for that though. I don't know if I'm going to bother going for that one. We'll see. All right, catch you up the way. Yeah, I'm not going to bother going for 1040. I'm not going to bother. So I'm just going to go head back along this steep road. I got some coast live oak woodland here too. It's really nice. Very beautiful. This hike itself is 99.5% shadeless. Just so you know. I might get a couple of tall shrubs here and there, but for the most part, this is way out in the sun, so choose your ascent of this wisely. Probably should have got an earlier start because I'm getting very warm, but it's not overwhelmingly hot by any stretch, but earlier part of the day will be a little bit more prime for more comfort level hiking. Again, watch out, poison oak. Like I said, when I took the Use Trail, branching off to the Mesa, I didn't see any poison oak along the Use Trail, so you should be good to go if you hike up there. But along here, there are some areas where the poison oak is really close, even onto the edge of the trail. Between here and the turnoff. There's some poison oak that actually touches the trail, so we'll just have to be careful. There's a small coast live oak right there. Quercus agrifolia, variety agrifolia. And a couple more coast live oak trees up there. All right, time to keep on descending. It's gonna get pretty steep pretty soon. A couple rutted areas between here and the bottom. Just beware. There is a single track above the rut, but it's pretty narrow, so just watch your step. There's some rutted areas. All right, see you on the next clip. I gotta get something to sip on. Yeah, this is a pretty descent right here. So I started running into some chaparral up here. Scrub oaks. You can see where the Sweetwater River habitat is down there with all the trees. That's a little spot here. Interesting little spot. Okay, all right. All right, still got quite a ways to descend, so keep you apprised on my progress. And we'll see down the way in another western whiptail. Of course, too far away for me to get a good visual on camera. Okay, see you down the way. Oh, there's a little butterfly. Oh, I wish it would stop. Right there. That little thing going by me is a Sarah orange tip. Anthocara Sara. First time I ever saw a Sarah orange tip butterfly. I was always wanting to see one of those. It's mostly white with a little orange tip, and there goes a swallow tail right in front of me. But yeah, that little butterfly, probably wouldn't get to see the orange tip wings, but that was my first ever Sarah orange tip. I was wondering when I was ever going to see one of those. It's kind of nice. I do know a few insects. Definitely not an entomologist, even at the amateur level. But oh, bushroot! Hello! Missed this on the way up. Look at that. Nail Iridium dumosum. Didn't expect this. And a San Diego mountain mahogany. Yeah, missed a few things on the way up. Yeah, okay, pretty neat. Yeah, there are a few bushroots along here. Guess when I was coming up this, I was just kind of grinding uphill and kind of just looking in front of me. Wow, okay. Pretty neat, pretty neat. All right, down and down I go. All right, some nice chunk of the way back. And the Mesa's up there somewhere. Yeah, I'm coming down these zigzags back over this small knoll. Yeah, it's been a pretty steep descent. You can see coming here, more of it coming up. So just take your time on the steep parts, and I'll see you when I'm down by the car, basically. All right, just about back at the trail split. Here we are, just about. Yeah, I was all the way up there. That was a pretty decently tough climb. I originally went that way. When you come up here from the road's just right there. Make your first left. Doesn't look obvious at first, but make the first left to start ascending the hill. All right, just about back in my car. There's the gate and the road. So when you see this unsigned gate and that wildlife conservation area sign, then you know you're at the trailhead. There's a little turnout up just this way a little bit. So that's gonna do it for me. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the video. I'll see you on my next hike. Thanks for watching.